You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good day, wherever you are on this wonderful planet. Welcome to Outside the Box. Yours truly, Kate of Gaia, here on criticalmassradio.co.uk. Oh, wow. Lots to talk about, and so much. It's going constantly radical, fractal, so it's tough to keep a straight vision on things these days. But keep a straight vision, I will. The end game. We're already in the end game, guys. The proofs are showing up everywhere. This energy that this dark principality that we've been pitted against is crumbling like Jericho's walls. The seventh trumpet has sounded, and the proof is everywhere. I mean, simple things like you can see how people can get emotional about this sort of stuff real quick. Let me just get up to it. By the way, for those wanting to tag directly with me, the best place, I'm able to add one or two people here and there as, you know, former spammed friend requests get removed and whatever. So I will add as much as I can. I was able to add 2 today. But that being said, groups, you can get as many as you want in those. So a group discussion had been set up. I set one up actually a long time ago, Katie's Cove, and never got around. I was there, but it was just too much to handle. So there was one set up. I believe it was Richard. Me and names. You know what I'm like with names, right? How much I love names. But anyway, had set this up. And you can get there on Facebook at Kate of Gaia discussion group. So for those that want to connect and stay up to date with everything, I've got that page open constantly now. And anyone that wants to send a request to it to be a part of it, please do. And we'll get everybody connected that way. You know, we're going to connect one way or the other, so I don't care how we do it. It's just the connecting that matters to me. So there's an easy way to do it. Kate of Gaia discussion group. So that's the map reference, and you can find us there. Okay, where was I gonna go? Hang on, let me get that. I was on that page. So, oh yeah. Thanks, Michael. This is a good one. The headline was "Evil: Italy's bishops pass Vatican-backed rule that child molestation doesn't need to be recorded." And of course not. Pedophiles don't want their shit recorded, but it's unfortunate for them because in the Akashic sense it already is. You see, by one's actions, one is already known, and an action in a now timeline cannot be taken back, right? Because when you understand the magic of this universe, that, you know, the magnetic source of self, which is connected to all, is the genie out of the bottle. That's your Pandora's box. It's open. So effectively everything you think and say is being manifested instantly and literally. For a great example of how people can be so blindsided by literal, the scene with Mr. Cody in Interstate 60, when he has the gentleman with a sign, "Will work for food," and he held him directly to his literal guns. And that's exactly how the universe works. And the clue that you get with Mr. Code E, well, Mr. means the son of or light of, code 9, which is code of consciousness, E in the mirror. Uppercase is 3, lowercase is 9. So there is your Trinity creation. So it is so blatantly literal once you start to break it down with the sound and the phonics. And slow down. You just got to breathe on this. Everyone's in such a hurry. You know, everyone wants the answer. How do I get out? How do I do this? How do I stop? Just stop. I was there. I know what it's like. You have that wake up moment, and you'll have many more. I promise you. To the reality of what this paradigm is all about, and you just get sickened by it, and you want out as quick as you can. Well, I'll tell you, there's a lot of things that have to get looked at real quick. And they have to get looked at within yourself real quick. This is not about research. The only research that people need to do is their own heart. And I got to tell you, it's as simple as standing in truth and never yielding. You know, we're wise enough to know the difference between, right and wrong, good and evil, if you will, if you want to stay polarized on it. And it's in that contrast that we can decide to be one or the other. And there are some that choose, well, not what I would choose. It's a one-way ticket to deleting of consciousness, taking the evil roads. That's the easy road, right? The ones that people are most attracted to, and it's always in the physical sense that people are attracted to these things. And that totally makes sense. I get it. I happen to be walking around in a physical meat stick too, right? I just know that the meat stick isn't me, right? It's where I hang out. It's where I, experience this reality. It's not me. It's just like my car. When I take this body and put it in the car isn't me. I just animate the car. Basically third party, right? Me operating the body operating the car, right? And that's just another fractal within a fractal. You got to get to the source of who and what you are, though. And this is the hard part that I see most people, and I know why, because it took a lot to get past it. It's like this whole ego program. You cannot understand what an ego program is until you see it as, and it's a blinding moment of aha. And then, of course, once you see it as a separate, completely separate program, separate entity, you start to wonder, well, how the hell do I explain this to an ego? Because the ego is going to constantly want to defend it, and it's a perfect circular trap that myself and many others have been able to get out of, and I'm just trying my best to say the same things over and over to get people to see this, and they will. They will. I know they will, because I know a lot of people that had that blinding, oh my God moment. Look at that. Yes, you actually see the ego as the car, right? It's not you anymore. And you have your own steering mechanism. It's called your heart. And your brain will do everything in its power to derail you and steer you off in all sorts of crazy intellectual directions. And you'll look clever, and you'll sound clever, and you'll debate, and you'll have all of this beautiful ego stuff going on. And you will be saying, it's not ego, it's not ego, it's not ego. And I know it is, because, gosh darn it, I did the same things until I saw what it was. And it is black and white. There is no gray here. And you'll see when you see. And it's anything that has an emotion attached to it, anything that is a reaction, that is all reptilian brainstem motif. That's the modal operation of the reptilian brain. That's a program. A program reacts. It's like if you push this button, this lever moves, and this arm rises. Okay, so if someone pushes your angry button, right, the furnace opens up, lights you up on fire, and if you're right or left-handed, it doesn't matter. Right hand comes up to smash. That's what the ego program is. It literally works under stimulus response only. That's when you can see the difference. I think that's a neater way to kind of explain it. The ego is a stimulus response. It responds only to the physical. It responds only to survival. Right, body survival. That's all it is. It's looking for the comforts, the heat, the cool when it's too hot, and the heat when it's too cold. It's looking for all of the different things to keep the body, the id entity, or the id and the ego, right? Indigo, yes, indigo children, yes. Yeah. Generally, you find lots of the id and ego in that. But anyway, what you'll start to see is how separate you are from this reality. And then you start laughing at it for the insanity that it is, and that it's just a game, but not one that I want to play any longer. I'm done with this one. Excuse me. And for those that are done with it as well, I mean, that's kind of why we gather here, because we've had enough. Again, Italy, bishops, seriously, and people are surprised at this shit. Right, this is the system having to come out and expose itself, so that even a fully asleep idiot who is caught in any form of religion has to look at something like this and question it. Italy's bishops passed Vatican-backed rule that child molestation doesn't need to be recorded, And here's what I'll offer up to all the religiocosis chosenitis types, and Catholics, doesn't matter, Christians, everybody. Please send your children, your very young and innocent children, to the Vatican to be sodomized. Okay, and make sure you put the little name tag on them and a little letter telling the bishops and the Pope and everything. Well, because they're not going to. Doesn't need to be recorded, right? So, and if you're okay with that, then please send your children to Rome. And you may. I'm not sure if they use condoms or not, but you might want to send some condoms along, unless you want your kids back with STDs. So there's your religions for you in a nutshell. It's just getting sickeningly stupid and blatant in people's faces. There was something else I came across today. Oh, by the way, I watched Fallen last night. Yeah, I had seen that before, and it was profound when I saw it the first time. But I'll tell you, the eyes that were looking at it last night weren't the eyes that were looking at it when it came out, whatever, 12, 15 years ago or whatever, because that was in my DVD collection. Yeah, it came out in 1998. And I love this, crime, drama, fantasy. Yeah, indeed it is. Anyway, Denzel Washington, John Goodman, and Don Sullivan did great jobs in this. And it'll give you a really good idea as to what's going on. What I would suggest, if you're watching this Azazel character that is in it, remember to flip things over. Don't stay polarized on stuff, because you're only going to see half the truth. And for me, I have to see the whole truth. So I look at the good guys as the evil and the evil guys as the good. And boy, what a difference you'll see, and things make sense. Because I'd done a bit of research afterwards regarding Azazel and the fallen ones, the Watchers, the Book of Enoch, and what have you. Interesting to note again that Enoch, when became an angel of the Lord, that's real suspect right there for me, by the way, especially with the name Metatron. That kind of sent a few flags up too. But again, what are you looking at? How are you looking at it? Or if you're only seeing it from a good or evil perspective from any program that you're running, you'll only see half the truth, and chances are it's going to be the wrong half. That's why you got to get out of polarization. You'll never see the picture. Never. So there you go. Anyway, what do we got? I just want to get over to the board here. All right, well, we got a few callers in. Oh, we got Magdan and Bindi and Janet. So I'll tell you what, let's open this up. I want to kind of make this a bit looser today, because I'm going to get into some pretty heavy stuff tonight, I think, and just kind of do a wrap up of what's been going on. Last night's table was beyond incredible. I love it when all the anagogics start showing up, and we all get in it together, and it stays the course, and it stays away from the literal dramas and what have you. Like I said, the only real literal things that I'm interested in are people that want to share the proofs of this spiritual thing that we have going on with this shields up and bouncing and pushing all of the vampiric energies away. So I think if there's anything I want to talk about today is how people can get out of that loop of physical fear to understand what's going on. I'm going to urge people to go back to the March 14th episode again, the Friday night, and I think it starts at the 24-minute mark, and listen to what happens when someone knows who they are. And this applies. It doesn't matter. You see, the thing is, it wouldn't matter if I was sitting in a car or sitting in a house or sitting in anywhere. Okay? This is the point I'm trying to make to people. They're thinking that they need to fight to defend their homes and defend their families and their cars and all the rest of the shit, and you don't. This is what I've been really trying to get across to people. Once you know who you are, the vampires can't even come near you. And talking with Art there a couple of weeks back, the same effect. Getting a notice posted by a sheriff on the door, actually on that same Friday, by the way. And they came back later again, and I had a chance to talk with Art and remind him to do not even reference the meat stick name, that it has nothing to do with you, because the instant that you say, well, that's not me, that's illegal, see, you're still attached to it. It's not me. That's the only answer. No. Someone says, are you so-and-so? No. I'm me. And that's exactly how I answered these Goonies on that Friday night. No, I'm me. Where do you live? Right here. Is this your car? I have the key. Well, I see that. Well, good. Any other questions? Any other stupid, fucking retarded, mentally handicapped, programmed dog, werewolf, penis, 9mm penis extension bearing fucking clown suit uniformed idiotic questions that you're going to try to regurgitate to me because you got it programmed into you by some other fucking similar type of idiot like you? Because it's insanity. And you don't negotiate with insanity, you just call it what it is. You're a fucking psycho. Now go away. You're of the land of the dead, I'm of the land of the living. Okay? Bye-bye. And guess what, boys and girls? They leave. That applies to your home. If someone's taking your kids, well, go and get them and bring them home. But you better know who you are. And people keep asking me for advice on this and that and the other. The only advice I'm going to give anybody is follow your heart. If you need any answers to know who you are, get to my website, kateofgaia.wordpress.com. My whole focus has been on showing you who you are. You got to find you. I'll show you the path. I found a path to finding me. That's all I can show you is the means to get there. The rest of that is up to you. No saviors welcome. No saviors allowed. You just have to be all that is. And there you go. Hello, Janet. How are you?
Hi, Kate, great. Yep, good to hear you. Always good to hear everybody. I love all the voices that come in. But I was thinking about that one experience at the library, but there was even a better one that I just kind of let it go. But the universe showed me, I don't know, it was a little bit after I heard you and burned everything. And I was driving, so I saw a green car. It was right after I watched Interstate 60, and I saw this green car go by, and it had no license plates at all. There was smoke coming out the windows and music playing really loud, and I was like, yeah, that's fucking great. I want to do that. So I took the plates off, and I drove all the way up to Mount Shasta, and I just knew I was totally invisible, and drove all the way back, and I just was thinking about that this morning.
Isn't that funny, eh? The minute you stop giving a shit about the system no longer has control on you. And that's the problem with system, is it's so well indoctrinated into each and every one of us, especially as children. There was a post on the, I think it was on the discussion group, that someone had posted a lesson that teachers were giving children, and it had a circle of apples, and it said, show 20, right? And the little girl that handed it in numbered each one of them and circled it all the way around to 19. There wasn't 20 of them. So she wrote 19 in the middle, and guess what the teacher did? The teacher marked it wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And these are the people you're supposed to respect. Remember this, guys, and this is no harm, no foul against those that have intention of wanting to teach and help children. That's great. Okay, if that's your true intent, then you won't be needing a paycheck, okay? Sorry. Get out of the buildings and start your own little teaching thing. And all they do is regurgitate the same shit that was regurgitated to them as children. And of course, they've never left school. Kindergarten to whatever, grade 12, right into teachers' college, right, and then right back into school. So they haven't got a clue as to what the real world is. Remember, guys, I worked for 11 years for a school board. I know a lot of students that called themselves teachers. Hell, I knew a couple of professors that never left school. Not only did they go to teachers' college and taught, they ended up becoming university professors, right up to, what do they call that, tenureship, right? So they can never be fired at that point. Once you have tenure, you can't be fired. Of course, they wouldn't want to retire somebody. And I've never met more immature fucking idiots. Oh, they're brilliant and they're mental, but I had a couple that came through Songwriter Cafe. One guy was quite good because he had actually lived in the real world for a while, but the other guy, as a matter of fact, felt the need to throw knives into my back as well. When I asked him to take care of the cafe for a couple of weeks, I needed a break, and the next night he's in and he's trying to revamp with the owner of the place we were doing it into his image of what he wanted it to be. Sorry, it's only been going for, it's only been going for 8 years. Yeah, I guess it needs improved. you know.
It's so funny.
Go ahead, Mindy.
I say bless their hearts. I say bless them.
Yeah. Hey, Darren, how are you?
I am finer than frog's hair, if I had to tell you.
Always, huh?
Right on. And I do have all the mics open. I should do a call out for the number here because I'm only here once a week. And for those that do want to call in, you can call in at 347-326-9530. And, of course, if you're on the Blog Talk link, you can Skype in. If anybody has the BTR listener number, if you could share that, that would be great. And all you have to do... What is it?
024. 024.
Yep. Okay, so it's BTR listener 024. Now, I've got all the mics open, so be mindful, guys, of noise on your end. I appreciate it. Thank you. So there you go. If anyone wants to get in, here we are. So let me see. I know we got Janet, we got Bindi, Magda, Darren, and Lynn. So all the mics are
Namaste.
open. Hello.
So yeah, it was a great show yesterday.
Yeah, a lot of fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, a lot of sentences got finished.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was awesome. I love it when people get to finish their sentences.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Somehow things seem to flow a little better that way.
Yeah, and the truth bumps hit you like a constant wave.
Truth bumps?
Yeah.
What is
that?
The
goosebumps.
Goosebumps?
They're truth bumps.
Cool.
Or we can call it mini druid mounds.
You know, you got a good one when your nipples can cut glass.
Hey, yeah, plate steel, never mind glass.
Yeah, titanium cutting.
Right on.
Getting already.
Okay.
Yeah, so have any of you guys seen Fallen? The movie, Fallen?
No. But I did have a kind of a resonant teacher story. Two of you.
Please go.
Yeah, I've been pondering on the whole teacher thing the last few days because a whole lot of time I get the question, could you teach me this, or you'd be a brilliant, and every time somebody says it, I can feel my sticker wanting to lift off the floor, and yesterday it went whammo, and so I had a good look at what kind of a mirror I was getting, and I just realized that the only way I would want to teach is if that people start asking me questions beyond the literal, and that is why my stinger started rearing, and I just had to see that, and I thought, okay, let go of the whole idea again, stinger down, done. That was the last bit of the Teacher Savior program I had hanging on my neck, because I knew there was another thread. I thought I dealt with a lot, because I've done a bit of dark and dirty searching, and the whole Savior program needed another overhaul, and I think today I hit the last bit of at least what I can see now. And
yay!
It's not about wanting to be a teacher or not being a teacher. It's about the questions being asked. Once somebody designates teacher.
I pre-qualify the questions now.
Yeah.
If you want to ask me a question, you're going to have to take full responsibility of the answer without debate. Because if you're asking someone a question, it is something that you do not have the answer to. You may have an idea about something, this, that, or the other. But if you're looking for new information to get what you feel is the answer, then how about you just ask the question, allow the answer to hit you, and the only response I accept from anyone now is, okay. Because that means that you're going to take the time to have a look at an answer that you obviously didn't have and obviously is going to come at you from a completely different point of view. That's how you get answers. And you'll find it within yourself.
Yep.
That I promise.
Yep. Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah, because most of the questions start actually scripting shit onto my canvas and I don't want it there. That's the main reason why I felt resistance, because I thought this time the stinger is not up just because it's going to sting for the stinging's sake, but because there's a signal in it for me.
Yeah.
And it was all about just relaxing, okay, breathe, sting it down, now look at what is happening. And then I just saw the mechanism. Again, it's being roped into something, divided halfway. And and then I saw that post about the circle, and I thought, awesome, there it is again, the teacher.
Yeah, I know, eh? So here it is, in a nutshell, guys, and maybe try this with people. I'll tell you what, I'm going to take full responsibility for the question you're going to ask me. And in that light, responsibility, I'm going to give life, the ability of life to the question that you were asking me. Now, my terms are simple. I want the equal responsibility. So it's a zero. It cancels out here. I want whoever's wants the answer to take 100% responsibility for the answer. And that can only happen when you say okay, because that says you're not trying to work your broken calculator programmings into an answer that is coming from one that has taken the time to fix their calculator.
And the response okay or zero killed is perfect, because that means you didn't shoot the messenger of the answer.
Bingo.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for not shooting them.
Yeah, that's called open communication. That's called two-way street, not a one-way ramrod up the wherever you want, right? So
a fair exchange of energy where conscious communication occurs, and you can say what's within.
Yep, and it's zero. There is a complete zeroing out. It's a transmuting of energy. It's like in the movie, what was it? Wanted. Mm-hmm. The guy and his dad, every time they shot bullets at each other, one was trying to kill one, the other one was shooting to knock the bullets out of the air, and it was every time they shot at each other, each one of these bullets, no matter what, hit in midair, right between them. So that's what this is to me. This is neutralizing everything. So if you want me to take responsibility for your question, then you must take responsibility for the answer. And look at it for yourself from there, but take the time to look.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it happens in every moment. I mean, the moment we have a thought that I'm going to, any kind of thought, every moment, you get to choose. Every moment.
But I also reserve the right to not have an answer and ponder on the question myself.
Oh, exactly.
Oh, well, yeah.
And then go. Yeah, and it comes back to emotional responses that people have, and I will tell you again and again and again that if there's any emotional response or outburst, that is pure ego. That is, you got to remember, those that are awakening have got very, very active, like the rest of us, very active egos that will take the helm at the first blink. Remember, Cain will slay Abel at every turn. Cain gets the opportunity. So I protect my Abel.
Hey. I can share an experience how simple the questions can be. I once received a treatment from a craniosacral energy Reiki being. And then my roommate at the time, she was involved in the same kind of medicine and energy work. And she walked in the moment my feet hit the floor of that, after that session, 3.5 hours. I was an open book. I could feel a fart 3 blocks down the street. And literally, this woman used the no breaths. She actually started sucking my energy the moment she walked through my front door. I had to run from my own home. She did it willfully. When I realized that truth, right, I accepted it. I went, wow. Well, you certainly showed your true colors. You certainly showed how much love you have for me. You love lighter. She totally took advantage of me, energetically. The next morning, I woke up, went to make my toast and coffee, and she asked me if I had seen the neighbor. And literally, I could feel, I could just feel the hook, the tube in the matrix just jab right into my hip. And I ran back to my bedroom, threw my Merkaba up. At the end of that, what happened was the truth that field of energy where you do no harm on no other. You hold all the golden rules for yourself and others. She's a native woman, dark complexion. The next time she moved in on me, she turned white as a ghost. Her eyes rolled in the back of the head, and she almost fell on the floor. She sat down and said that she had to go to the hospital. Get my husband. I got to go to the hospital. I ran from the house again.
Once bitten, twice
it's
shy.
The simplicity of opening up the doorway of your emotional body is what caused it. I took full responsibility in that contract because it was my inner thought that said, how in the fuck am I supposed to know where he is? I just woke up. And I opened up the gateway. The hook came right into me, and I became an etheric tit. And I got it happens every time, in every moment, especially once you gain awareness. Empathy, empathic. I mean, curse, no way. Yeah. When I feel shit, I love shit. I hit it with love. I love you. When I hear a cop car, I pray. May you get to do whatever you're doing safely. Do no harm unto no other, and get home to your family. Every siren, every ambulance, every fire truck. I say this to those guys. I say, I pray for you, you know. An hour and a half I take with them, hour and 40 minutes, 2 hours. When they pull me over to fishing, curbside marketing, I give them a confession of a God, confession of a child of God, and I point the finger back at them and say, and you are too. And when you accept that, you're going to have this big old smile on your face. And I point to my mouth. These people messed up. I had one 18 years on the force and never experienced such a thing in her life. Why is that? Why is one who is supposedly, intently giving of themselves to serve us, you know, some are ignorant, some are not, in all aspects. But why is it 18 years for that woman to hear from one of the people that she serves, thank you? Because that's all I expressed to her was gratitude. And I told her I prayed for her and made sure she got home safe. The refrigerator that showed up when I didn't stop for her car, because she called in backup, that guy had a misty eye too. And it was my choice, my will to step into the now and go, hey, this is not, no name here. You know, I do it gentle with them. I ask them, are you asking for the corporate identification? And when they say, I don't care what you call it, I say, well, actually you should. Criminal Code 19 is very clear. They step back. They step out of my realm. That's a symbol. When they approach you, take 2 steps back. They will not pursue you unless you open your mouth. When they come to you and they ask you for your names, say, would you like to meet me or turn me to meat? And hold your hand out. They won't shake your hand. They can't. They step back. Every time you stand in truth, when they hit you with a question, meaning you do not enter defense, because the moment you enter defense, that's your ego and your emotions telling you, take a look, son. Take a look. It is nothing more. It is your tool to go, hey, something's not I am. Something that is 0 point. Oh, I better look. I deal with stuff every day, all day. And they always ask me, why, Darren, why? Oh, that's awful. I fucking look at them and smile. It's a good thing you're not doing it. It'd never get done.
How true is that?
This is the truth in every moment. I look for no one to complete me. I look no one to rule me. I stand under no one. I stand upright. I'm accountable to God alone. Hold that rule for yourself and others. Oh, the rule stands in your presence. God stands before you. You gain your wings. God backs you.
Exactly.
Every moment.
It's exactly how it is, and that's the true inner source of that beautiful 0 point. When you get there, you become the pure spiritual void, negative, right? And of course, like any magnet, if you are in that pure divine negative void of pure creation form, standing in truth, that's truth. All physical negative, well, like a magnet, is repelled. It's very, very simple.
Truth holds.
Oh, you don't
All
have
to do is
stand.
You just have to lift the veil in the moment. As soon as you hear you say asshole, lift the veil and take a look what's before you. And the truth will smack you right in the third eye.
Yep.
You don't have to seek it. You just have to lift the veil, the lie. Lift the lie.
Yeah.
The veil held backward is what? Live.
Yeah. And trust that you know what you need to know when you need to know it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Interstate 60. You don't have to think. That's the joy of this. Everyone's so worried about trying to think of this and think of that, and the game is simple. You don't have to think at all. You just have to be, and it works. I liked your point there about you're glad you're the one doing it, because this way at least it's going to get done. And that's exactly how I equate my own, where I am and what I'm doing. Well, yeah. I looked around, and I thought, well, nobody else is doing this, so this must be my role. No one else is actually doing it this way, so this is my path. And that's all you have to do. Your path is self-evident. It's getting up the will to overcome the programmed fears, and take the fears on one at a time, little baby ones, And because I'll tell you, every victory, it culminates. It builds that little molehill into the mountain of truth. So start with the molehill. Start kicking those out of the way into one bigger pile. And then before you know it, you've got a mountain of truth standing in front of you, and nothing gets through it. Nothing.
Nothing. At any moment, any time.
Anywhere. Pure.
Kate's observation and witnessing and what she shares in regards to the energy in the soul contract is so real. It is the most truth. It is the truth. I was in a courtroom. A brother, Michael Gran, standing upright. We brought an energy we shouldn't have to the courthouse, but anyways, he got falsely arrested. No sign, warrant, nothing, blah. It was just an inconvenience, 20 minutes, blah. Illegal. I left the courtroom scratching my head. What the heck happened? Could it be just this energy? Nah, something else happened. Something else was going on. What do I do? I asked Spirit, what do I do now? Because I have a job. And the job is a job from God. I don't need a job. I haven't had a job in 6 years. I'm not a bum. I'm not lazy. I do things for other people. End up in the craziest and most awesome places. But I went back into that courtroom, and I looked through that judge to the emblem behind her, which is the Tut, right to God. And I simply said and intended, who are you to stand between me and God? That woman, by the time I hit the feminine aspect of my meditation, could not grab the gavel fast enough. She was in mid-sentence, went into a stammering and grabbing that gavel, smacked it like 3-4 times before she even said, recess. The whole courtroom was like, what the heck? I continued in my meditation because it wasn't to harm her. It was to let her know I was claiming God. She went down the stairs, back up the stairs, cleared the courtroom, 15-minute recess, back down the stairs, back up the stairs. Court, come with me. Down the stairs, out the door, back through the door. Looked bewildered, back out the door. Magi. you claim the original form of any form, too bad for you, Magi. Pentagon trumps pentagram. Every time. When the sheriff was done, or the bailiff was done handling my brother, and the courtroom was cleared, I went invisible. I listened to the prosecutors decide the next 3 cases. And the moment I had an emotional thought, discord, they saw me and looked as shocked as shit because they didn't see me before that moment. And I saw it, and I went, oh, shit, I slipped. What are you doing here? And I went, me? Like a child would? Me? Because that's what you are. So act it. They act it. I'm under discord, duress. Ugh. I said, well, I watched a child of God be abducted. Did they take him from here? Because that's kidnapping. We cleared the courtroom. They were walking backwards. They were bumping into desks and walls and shit. It was hilarious. But not in the moment, because I was holding God before me. I can't let my ego giggle at that time, or else guess what? Contract. What happened? They left. I was the only man standing in that courtroom. And I was standing with a big eating ass smile on my face that said, I claimed God, the toot. And it was beautiful. Because when the sheriff came out, about 5 minutes later, and I'm hanging out with 2 guys that think I'm a fucking nut bar, even though they know more about the law than I do. But my claim to being a child of God flipped them out, tripped them out, couldn't accept it. No acceptance. They let go so much they couldn't even realize what they were. But when they saw that, and I came out of that courtroom, the last one, because they left willingly, they listened, bah. They were looking at me in a different light. And I just smiled. I went, child of God, it's not such a far reach, is it? And the one fellow looked at me and went, wow, it's really real. He saw himself in a new light that day. And I said, good Job, because I'm here to observe and witness. When that bailiff came flying out of the courtroom, he didn't even put his gloves on to arrest my brother. But when he came flying out that door, he was putting on those leaded gloves. He was inciting fear. But he didn't realize fear feeds my love. I capitalize on every experience. That's why I don't let go. I accept it for what it is, because then the energy is mine. He asked me what business I had there. I looked at him and went, I don't do business. That's your department. You're the one with the job. I have a job. What's that? Well, a job puts you in alignment with God, the toot. You have a job, which is public business for private dishonest gain. Oh, poor you. He goes, well, what? Do you have a case? I said, no case. My hands are empty. I giggled, just to give him a little break. It was beautiful, because by the time I was done and explained to them that I was a child of God, and I was there performing my job, which was to observe and witness the proceedings, he then asked me what right I had to be there. And I bowed, and I took my hand to my third eye and pointed it to the toot, the emblem through the door, and I said, my right to God. And by the time I brought my hand back and touched my forehead and brought my head up right, he was coming up from a bow and spun around without looking me in the eye. Because I was disrupting the court, you know. Magi's, they know the disruption without me saying a word.
Darren, I really want to capitalize on what you just said there, because that truly is the essence of what it is that's being shared right now. It manifests itself in the physical like you would not believe, because you have never experienced it. I have witnessed that same day the court and the judge bows, the bailiff bowed to me as well and took 3 steps back without looking at me in the eye before he turned around to excuse himself. That was the first interaction I had in the court that day. It's not on video. I have it on audio, and it's not the best, but I've shared it a few times. But that's the power that you're talking about. This is the unsurmountable, unclimbable mountain that you have. We've got a lot of noise in the background, guys, so I've had to mute a couple of mics. So if you could please keep any touching of the phone or breathing into it. It's really loud in my headphones. There's that complete sentence thing that we were talking about. It is extremely distracting, so please be mindful on your end. Getting back to the power that you wield, because you're not used to seeing it, because you're not used to having it, because you've been blinded from it, it can be a little unnerving. And as Darren said, it can make you want to giggle, because it's like, check that shit out, you know. Exactly. But it's very real. It's very real. You see, this is the energy that I speak of. This is where the dark, if you want to call it that, bows to the light of you. The shadow must always retreat from the true light. And if you are caught in the poison of this light, then you are the shadow. So reverse that. Flip yourself inside out. Yin your yang, so that it's your yang that's pushing out, not the yin. Works wonders.
I like to relate myself as a gray. Reclaim that word.
Yep, make it gray.
Clear, man. You know, I'm between all spaces, all faces. The rainbow has spaces between each color. Clarity. You know.
Well, that's
awesome.
it, you know.
And every time, 3 steps back, hey, Kate?
3 steps back, they must.
Every time.
They will ask 3 times.
Sometimes when they call for backup just kind of lingers outside the circle, causing more of a split in the entity's mind.
And is that a step for the itself, herself, and himself?
Also,
all 3.
Yep.
All one or alone, your choice.
That's when you go in pro se, for himself, herself, itself. Say the Latin word for that. That's going to be part of the little key that I'm going to draw up right after the show today for key parts of key sounds. Right? Yeah. Please, and I can't stress this enough. Don't get caught in the spellings of something. S-A-Y sounds like say. It can also sound like sai, or S-A, or S-A-Y. Again, just be patient with everything that I share. And that's the problem with drive-through truthing, right? I want it now, and it better have pickles, you know? Chill, you know. So C-E can make that sound. C-H-E can make that sound. Silence the H. Again, it's about particular sounds contained within words. What was the one that I came across last night? Malaka. Let me just go back to. I was looking up Azazel last night. A couple of things I want to cover here today, because I thought this was rather interesting. Just the way the dots connect, it just blows my mind. It really does. It's like, no way. Yeah, even me, all the time. It's like, oh, how cool is that? Truth is exciting, and I don't care how big a truth gets unveiled or how little. It's all pieces of the puzzle that we're putting together. Azazel, by the way, is also termed a scapegoat. Okay? I see that escape coat. That's your escape coat, right? And you know what the system and the religions are all about. If they're selling you something as evil, you can be damn sure it's good. And if they're selling you something as good, you can be damn sure it's evil. So learn to look at things on both sides, and that way you'll see it. Interesting that in the Dead Sea Scrolls there was a book called the Book of the Giants. You probably didn't know that. The Book of Jubilee, which is still in the Catholic books, by the way, same as the Book of Wisdom. But you probably haven't heard about that if you're not Catholic. Where was... Let me see. And Aaron hath given lots over the 2 goats, one lot for Jehovah and one lot for a goat of departure. Now, would you want the lot for Jehovah or Yahweh, or would you want the goat of departure? What is goat? Well, goat is the Christ consciousness, you see. That's why they want to have their goats on their evil symbols, to make people think that it's the horned one, it's the beast. No, it's the allegory of the astrology. Capricorn, the goat. And that's the Christ consciousness aspect in all of us, the I experience not. So again, would you want your lot with Jehovah, or your lot for a goat or coat of departure? I'll take the latter. And of course, Azazel is the coat of departure, the Christ consciousness, right? Why else would Azazel be termed scapegoat? What is a scapegoat? Someone that all the garbage gets dumped on. The one that is framed, right? And I was watching that movie Fallen last night from that perspective. And they do such a masterful job of painting this entity as pure evil. And it's dressed up so wonderfully. But when you flip the roles and start looking at it neutrally, you see a completely different picture. You're not polarized to one side or the other. You're not held in one mindset or the other. It's open yourselves up. Now, in the 5th century, 3 Enoch, Azazel is one of the 3 angels, Azza and Uzzah. I thought that was interesting. Azza and Uzzah, yeah, are the other 2, who opposed Enoch's high rank when he became the angel Metatron. Whilst they were fallen at this time, they were still in heaven, but Metatron held a dislike for them. Sorry, that sounds pretty conditional to me, doesn't it? An angel held dislike for them and had them cast out? God, that almost sounds like a system, doesn't it? Anyway, they were thenceforth known as the 3 who got the most blame for their involvement in the fall of the angels marrying women. It should be remembered that Azazel and Shemhatzai, which is Azza, by the way, and Azazel, where was it? Shemhatzai were said to be the leaders of the 200 fallen, and Uzzah and Shemhatzai were tutelary guardian angels of Egypt, with both Shemhatzai and Azazel, and were responsible for teaching the secrets of heaven as well. The other angels dispersed to every corner of the earth. So what it's saying here is the fallen ones were the ones that, the Prometheus, they were the Prometheans that came and taught mankind, humanity, these wisdoms to make them as same as the Most High. And when you understand a lot of the other stories as they tie into this, the Enki and Enlil story, the alien stuff and all that, when you put it all together, it's all telling you the same story. And right up to date with the movie Noah, where the fallen angels are portrayed as rock giants, and that as soon as they were killed defending mankind, they transformed back to angels and went straight to heaven. What does that tell you? There's a war on here, guys. It's a war on for your consciousness.
That's freaking awesome. I'm
right?
going to heaven.
Well, yeah, exactly. We're here fighting for humanity.
Yeah.
Have a look at yourselves, guys. You are the fallen. I've said this years ago. We are the fallen here to bring the others home. Remember, there are good fallen and bad fallen. Okay? The good fallen are the ones that came here by choice. To say, listen, we'll sort this shit out.
Again.
Again, yeah. So you have a purpose. You have a mission. And I was thinking about this last night, and I was going to call everybody out on this tonight, but listen, you guys all had a mission, and you know this deep within you. You had something to do. You came here to do something of a most profound nature. And the only way you're going to get that path is to stand in the truth once and for all. Only then will you understand the power you wield. Only then will you understand that these dark essences are completely powerless. They're just a load of bluffing idiots. If they can deceive you into vamping your power from you, then they will take it. And that comes right down to the simplest form of if you agree with something, you are in contract with it. That simple.
That simple. The moment you align with it, you are out of alignment with your truth.
It's wonderful to read this stuff from the mirror perspective. You know, what is being sold? Remember, those that did all the writing, were they not of the elite? Were they not of the scribes and the Pharisees? Would they not have a vested interest in propagating the same, telling you the truth, in the 180-degree mirror? It only makes sense to me that the common people, they weren't the scribes. They weren't the ones taught the symbols and the sigils. That was a very, very cliquey outfit. And I'll tell you, the angels that married the daughters of men and had children, it was the children that were the idiots.
Yeah. Well, wasn't Da Vinci trying to tell us all? Everybody said, oh, it's a secret code. No, rubbish. He just tried to tell you, flip it around.
Have a look.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who wrote the notes for the game? It wasn't us.
Yeah. Have you limited yourself with your knowing? Have you limited yourself with your knowing long enough? Look past the line of knowing and see the rest of the story.
Exactly.
Because it's right there. You just have to get past that veil of knowing. I know nothing. It's not a clicky little catchphrase. It's real. Like Kate says, I take it in. I accept the concept. I say, my language says, it comes to me, I accept all of it. I don't need to regurgitate it. I just need to feel it. I don't need to know it. I just need to feel it.
You'll feel it.
And in every moment, when the moment rises, the words come out, even though if you asked me and caught me in a moment where, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know? But the word, I've surprised the heck out of myself. Like, I have to re-listen to me. You know? Like when I was on that stage in Kamloops, I didn't hear myself. When my foot hit the second step of that stage, I simply said, please, God, this is your opportunity to speak to the people. Don't let me fuck it up. And I walked up in front of 1,200 people, delivered a message. All I remember is intention, and I held the jar of water up. And every once in a while I'd hear an echo of my voice, and I'd be like, no, 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 no. When I turned around and was done, you know, I told everybody to welcome your intentional love with the water. Kids first. And I spun around. 3 of the 4 band members were bawling. I was like, oh boy, what did I say? You know, I stepped out. I did my job. I got the fuck out of the way so God could do his. Because God does. We just simply got to get out of the way.
Let go and let God.
Yeah. And
exactly.
Like my friends, my 2 friends that were with me that day, they couldn't tell me what I said. They're bawling their eyes out. They're just like, it's just beautiful, beautiful. Right? You know, I looked around, there's some other wet eyes. I'm like, holy cow, jeez, I hope someone recorded that. I want to hear what I said. I still to this day do not know what I said. I do know this. 2 weeks later, when I approached that same band shell in the park, they saw me walking towards them from about 75 meters away and were waving their hands no way. They were their hands were up, 2 of them, hands up, waving me away. Those people were told if they allow anyone to ever step on that stage again and do what I did, they'll never work in that city again. And it was said, in that city again.
Yeah, that's the power you wield, and that's how poisonous truth is. It is that destructive. Now, how would everybody feel about having courts wave them away like that? And this is all we're trying to share at this table. How to do that. Would that not be a better world? Would it not be a better world if not one single cop or bailiff or anybody or any law firm or any bank or anything to come and steal your home based on the lie that you're consenting to by not knowing who you are? Wouldn't you find that a whole lot better to know that, people tell me all the time, I just want to be left alone, but as soon as I try to tell them that, they try to tell me otherwise. Don't ask me a question if you don't want the answer. It really is that simple. And it goes without fail. Not one day goes by that someone asks me a question that they do not want the answer to. Then why the fuck are you asking me?
Every day.
Every day.
And that's why you got to pick and choose the energies to sit around with, because those contracts of a pedophile, they run deep. They run true.
I just started smiling a lot instead of answering. I'm
Yeah.
starting to teach myself the art of shimmering. Now
You're
ooh, hang on. I asked a question, now she's gone. I'm going to learn the shimmer. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, that's it. And I just want to let Magda know, a lot of the noise that's happening, Magda, is on your mic. You've got a really sensitive mic, and it's catching every touch of it or every breath you're making. So maybe turn down your volume a little bit or try to remove some of the sensitivity, because I had to mute your mic again. We have Mark in here as well. Lynn, your mic is open. Everyone's mic is open. So please, guys, is it every show I have to say this? Every show? All the mics are always opened and left open so that people can jump in. Be responsible about that. And at the same time, be mindful of any noise that you are making, because it's going live to air. Breathing, touching of the mic, coughing, typing, farting, it all gets picked up. Okay? So if you want to be in the call, which I know you do, then I will open the mic. Please have the courtesy to make sure it's quiet on your end. That's all. I mute out every time I'm not talking.
Yeah. It's a beautiful
Hey, Kate.
thing.
Mark, how are you?
Yeah, good. You guys all right?
Oh, I don't know. How are we doing?
How's it feel?
Is that Darren?
Yes, Brother Mark.
How you doing, Darren? I just wanted to share that great listening to you.
Well, the gratitude's all yours.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Darren. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for hearing.
Like I said, I know a downloader when I hear one, so I let them go.
When you hear it, when you listen to it and accept it and just use it as an affirmation for within you, all gratitude in the world. Gratitude is a form of love. And I'm just grateful to be present at the table, period. Like I told Kate, I wasn't bullshitting. Until I fucking met her online 6-7 months ago, whatever it was, I literally thought I was the only dumb motherfucker talking about the word. And the universe held me in that space long enough for me to really, really complete myself.
In the beginning, there was the word. Whose word is it? Yours or someone else's? Here, put your ears on for this one. I'm going to read it literally. It's from, if you do a Google search for, well, it's on Wikipedia, Azazel, A-Z-A-Z-E-L. This is from the Rabbinical Judaism heading. Check this out and listen to how literal this is, and I'm going to dig it a little deeper and rip the knickers right off it. Watch this. The Mishnah, Yoma, follows the Hebrew Bible text. 2 goats were procured, similar in respect of appearance, height, cost, and time of selection. Having one of these on his right and the other on his left, the high priest, who was assisted in this right by 2 subordinates, no hierarchy there, no, put both his hands into a wooden case and took out 2 labels, one inscribed for Yahweh and the other for absolute removal, or for Azazel. The high priest then laid his hands with the labels upon the 2 goats and said, a sin offering to Yahweh, thus speaking the Tetragrammaton, And the two men accompanying him replied, "Blessed be the name of his glorious kingdom forever and ever." He then fastened a scarlet woolen thread to the head of the goat for Azazel, and laying his hands upon it again, recited the following confession of sin and prayer for forgiveness. O Lord, I have acted iniquitously, trespassed, sinned before thee. I, my household, and the sons of Aaron, thy holy ones, O Lord, forgive the iniquities, transgressions, and sins that I, my household, and Aaron's children, thy holy people, committed before thee. As is written in the law of Moses, thy servant, for on this day he will forgive you, to cleanse you from all your sins before the Lord. Ye shall be clean. Now check this out. And I'm going to tell you exactly what. I've already read all this, so I'll tell you what happens. This prayer was responded to by the congregation present. A man was selected, preferably a priest, of course, to take the goat to the precipice in the wilderness, and he was accompanied part of the way by the most eminent men of Jerusalem. 10 booths had been constructed at intervals along the road leading from Jerusalem to the steep mountain. At each one of these, the man leading the goat was formally offered food and drink, which he, however, refused. When he reached the 10th booth, those who accompanied him proceeded no further, but watched the ceremony from a distance. When he came to the precipice, he divided the scarlet thread into 2 parts, one of which he tied to the rock and the other to the goat's horns, and then pushed the goat down. The cliff was so high and rugged that before the goat had traversed half the distance to the plain below, its limbs were utterly shattered. Men were stationed at intervals along the way, and as soon as the goat was thrown down the precipice, they signaled to one another by means of kerchiefs or flags until the information reached the high priest, whereat he proceeded with the other parts of the ritual. Yeah. These are your men of religion. Let's take a little goat and then toss it off a cliff. Well, that's a scapegoat, right? And what is that telling you allegorically? Well, I'll tell you what it's telling me allegorically, is that these Pharisees and scribes and cops and lawyers and judges and ministers and prime ministers and clergy and kings and queens and bankers and wankers and on the loose, that's their game. That's what they want to do to those that speak the truth. They want to throw you off the cliff, and they want to have people watching and raising flags and kerchiefs all along the way to cheer that. That's the system that people worship. That's the mob, the congregation, worshiping their whore of Babylon high priest and priestess, of course. Is that what you want? And anything that people do within the system with intent to do so within the system to stay there because they just can't handle letting go of anything, haven't changed their minds, are filled with the doubts of Thomas, the twin. Thomas means twin, Tom, okay? That's a duality, it's an allegory. And those that cannot let go of those things, well, there's your trip for you off the cliff. They will scapegoat you. The thing is, for absolute removal, they don't want anything in their game that destroys it. And they will do everything that they can to absolutely remove it. Here's the trick of the tail, though. Once you know who you are, once you get to where we're talking about right now, your goat, no one touches it. I said this months ago. Don't let anyone get your goat. And like I say, I go around collecting them. In the same way that I would walk around a mall taking all the flamethrowers and Uzis away from the retarded 5-year-old children that are shooting off in every direction, because it's all powerful and I don't want them to hurt not only themselves but others. So I'll take that goat away, the flamethrower away, until such a time as they can turn the damn thing off. Because that's all emotions are. It's you spiritually going around with an Uzi and a flamethrower, torching and riddling everything around you. And all that's doing is feeding that same energy. That's the fist fight. That's the free man. That's the sovereign citizen. That's the patriot mentalities. And until people can let go of these things, but I need a gun to protect myself. Really? Well, that means you're a meat stick. Me? I just need me. Nothing touches me. Those that live by the sword, die by the sword. And that's words, literally, and or divine feminine ward, if you will. That's your cage, your prison cell. Or be it a physical sword. It's all telling me the same thing. And when you get to this point, nothing touches you. Nothing. And what Darren was saying earlier about the literally bowing, they do. Because what you're dealing with are these same dark forces, dark principalities. And you have to imagine then at some point, when were these people told at what point to bow? And how much do they really know? Because I'll tell you this right now. If someone was training me to be a special constable, i.e. a bailiff, was telling me that I would have to, if someone did this, this, and this, I would have to bow to them and walk away, I'll tell you right now, I would ask, what the fuck? Wait a minute, what is really going on here? So you can either see someone that is fully captured in the system, is playing right along, and is part of that dark energy, or is just too stupid, too thick, and too easily bought and paid for to even give a shit to ask. And that's the people that are running your courts, keeping your courts safe. Well, sorry, if you're going to go to court, what are you courting? Well, you're courting disaster. And I'm sorry, I don't date and court anything like that. That's why it's all about courts and dates, right? They want you to woo you. They want you to be the bride of Frankenstein. And the vast majority of humanity is quite happy with that. Please, fleece me, fleece me. That was the other one. Go get your sheepskin. That's what a diploma is. How many sheepskins have you got in your wall? That was a beautiful post. I did not know that until today. That was pretty cool to see that. I love learning. It's fun. But this is the power you all wield. And Darren, you've been most eloquent in the last few days of really outlining this. And it was great having Paul in last night. And everybody that comes to the table. What I'm seeing now is a tour de force of people coming to this table that are talking the same language. Because I think I can speak for all of us in the regard that we've been talking about these things for so long, wondering when and if anyone would ever actually get or understand what it is we're talking about. Where we felt completely alone. How many times do I have to say this over and over? And that's all I'm doing again today. I did it yesterday, I did it the day before. I'm just telling you the same things over and over again. Lose the name, win the game. Anything attached to the name, and it's you that is attached to it. If you're claiming it and you think you need it, then you're spiritually bound to it. You are tying yourself up in knots, literally. And they will take you on your knot I call mile every single time. Yeah, that's the green mile. And they'll walk you right to your execution, just like they do with the goats, the scapegoats. Or you can finally stand and say, no, not going to happen. And then they bow 3 times and run. Call the bluff. That's all it is. And what is a cliff, by the way, that they throw you off? Well, that would be considered the bluffs. Yeah, the bluffs are throwing you to your death. Had enough yet?
I love a good cliffhanger.
You know? Is that really complicated what I just said, or do I need to say it even simpler? Lose the name, win the game. Get your power back. Because as soon as you lose that, nothing can touch you. And that's not a gimme. All I'm trying to show people is what you already have, you don't have anyway, because if it's registered, it ain't yours. If it's registered to the name, anything attached to the name, it's not yours. The car you drive in, truck, house you're in, whatever the case may be, the business you think you own, the bank account you think you have, none of that's yours. You just have the illusion that it is. The system thinks, we have to let them have somewhere to put their table scraps while we gouge their spirit. And don't get caught in the money illusion either. It's not the money they want. That's the lure. That's the bait on the hook. Ego loves that shit. It's not the money. They want your soul. And as long as you're chasing money and the whole illusion of the physical reality, defending yourself, I need this external value to live. And yes, in the current system, the way it is right now, until it all comes down, and it's coming down, yeah, but to me it doesn't have value because I know what it is. And I use that same tool to poison the well from whence it came. It came out as pure, vile, poisoned spirit, and I purify it and throw it back in. And in the same way that a shadow retreats from the light, same effect. You just got to flip it over. Turn it upside down and backwards, and you'll start to see what's really going on. Know thyself. You're God. And quite frankly, you're worth it. Don't you think? Just a thought.
Fuck yeah. I forgot to unmute.
It's okay. A couple of fuck yeahs always works at this table.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah is really good. I have a real quick little thing that the twins, I made them some spaghetti noodles, and they just like them plain, and they were sitting there tying them in knots, and I was like, what you doing? And they're like, we're not eating. Me up.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me they don't get it.
Yeah.
We're not eating. I love it. That's beautiful.
I know.
Funny how it ties in with what we're talking about right now, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, that's what came up. I've been cracking up about that for a while.
Twins, eh? Gotta love them.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Double the trouble. I love it. You know. Oh, I'm going to get Magda's mic open here. Let's see if we got everybody again. Sorry, Magda, I meant to open your mic up sooner.
All right. Sorry.
There we go. It's okay. It's okay. It happens every show. I'm waiting for the show that I never have to mention it. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to be like in complete awe. Oh, look at that. That's all good. It's all good. I think that's one of the comments I get most from people. Where did you get your patience from? I don't know. You know, Darren's been talking about Job, so that I always refer to Job as my impatient younger brother. Do we have you back, Darren?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, because you dropped off there. And Janet just dropped off too. Well, a little bit of ping pong today.
I have a pooch here. She's an older dog, and she loves the juice that comes in these moments. So she's all over here getting her hips healed up, and she barks. So I got to mute and keep sharing with my little grandpa.
No worries. Yeah, do your thing. I got you muted in this end, so you can mute on your Skype. No worries. Got Janet back, and no volunteers tonight or this afternoon for coming into the show. I'm just opening everyone's mic up, so it looks like we have Colleen in as well. So, and thank you everybody for jumping in. This is the once a week sit down at the main table with all of the criticalmassradio.co.uk people, and I'd like to use it as a bit of a wrap-up, and it seems to always work out that way anyway, and covering what we have over the last week. And we have covered a lot of ground. I got an email from Darren, by the way. I should probably crack that open. Where are we here? Or not Darren, from D. And let me see, Outlook. And I got to tell you, the back and forth between Dee and myself right now. It's like I said to him in a reply yesterday. I can't explain what it is that he's doing to try to explain it to anyone else, but I know what he's doing because I can feel it, and it is about dissolving all of these little matrix traps. And he's got such a gift. Honestly, for me, it's mind-boggling. But I know what he's doing, and he's probably sent a couple more. Oh yeah. Here it is. I had one when the show started. I've got 5 now. The answer he'd give me here is 78. Isn't that the number of tarot cards? Yes, it is. And anyway, I'll just share this one with you. This one looks pretty straightforward. Where are we? Oh, wow, Kate. Perfect timing for this inner sentient field to open into the expression of pure potential, which became sensed and perceived as qualities, which are like the pure essences before they are ground in baby food and packaged in marrows, labeled and caned for sale in galactating Walmart, Wall Street, etc. Now that I can look back, I can see that is exactly what we have been digging and mining for, the purest living qualities that never cast or case shadows. They don't cast shadows. The joinder or the free rider is the one that casts quantifiable quanta in its ingest or digest wake, right? So basically, if you're in the system, you're casting shadows for yourself. Steve is finally digging into these qualities that are bound into the living tree essences that are captured and sealed away under the tree root, which had been used as a heart root chamber, which goes back to 512, Drunvale, Oath, Taurus. April 7887, 2014. That's why you mentioned about the tarot cards being 78. The quality opens, quantities, quanta, quantus, etc., close in on itself to fill in the 7997 and seal in the 3 DNA plus and minus and both etheric spacer rings. See what I mean? Like this is how this guy sees the world, and I can't explain it, but I know what he's doing. And he also wrote, we should talk direct. How about this, since this morning the oldest and maybe weirdest picture puzzle still left in the skeletal water closet are coming up for inclusion. It's kind of awesome, if not completely humbling. Let's both try and capture what we are sensing into our own inner GPS navigation moment and then merge them together. That will dissolve both the conscious and unconscious and the sub-marina that binds them together in the middle as well as open inner living field. The dead will flake away into the 12 equals 12 minus cell salt blanket box layers in what I call the truth waters that will seek their own crystal or chrysalis layers. And this is, for me, what resonates there is the fact that it's the dominant frequencies. As we resonate higher and higher in terms of truth and climbing the DNA Jacob's ladder, what's happening below us in the sine wave is we're creating a huge negative void potential, or a vacuum. You can call it a vacuum. And what happens with a vacuum, because nature abhors one, all creation does, is those things that are of slightly lower vibration get pulled into that as well. So by default, when we raise ourselves up, we raise those around us up. Dominant frequency will always master the room. It will always bring all other frequencies to match it. That's what that basically says to me. When Gustavo asked what to do about his court case, I said to be the magician and direct the court to do your bidding. And Kate, so simply, I said take the Bible and black law books, put them into your own magic circle, and only extract out the definition of naked owner, or that is the unconditioned 9-person place thing. There's your 9 kings of men. Reference point. Or the V-Day measure collection box. That leaves everything else inside definition of monster, that is the 8 Thunderbolts plasma physics squatter man, and also Winston Shrout's settler, creator of trusts. This might be fun since every human wants to be magician in the house of Usher or Star Wars scene when good guy face off against bad guy. I actually think this might be a good way to drain out all the stuck and dense no motion capacity emotions that maintain the unconscious realm of not dead but inclined but not included in any equation. This is how you get yourself included back into your own reality. And we are the ones that are taking ourselves out of our own reality by being a part of the system. If you are part of something else, what part of you isn't whole? Well, all of you, because you fractalized yourself into a bigger fractal. So what you're doing here is you're flipping it upside down and backwards, where you're now taking you as the whole truth and nothing but the truth, and you can reverse all of this by bringing that fractal under your control instead of you being controlled by it. That's the yin and the yang, the dot of light in the dark and the dot of dark in the light. Where do you want to stand? Are you happy being part of the big picture and just a little piece of the puzzle instead of being the whole puzzle itself? And that's all you're doing. And what we're doing here is we're putting our own pieces of our own puzzles together so that we have our own picture that no one else can ever see or know, because the name of God is unknowable. The way of God, that's your path. Only you know your path. That's what is meant by the name of God is unknowable. Only you know your path. Only you know your experience. And I've covered this many times with people saying they used so-and-so's system and it didn't work, and so-and-so's process and it didn't work. I said it goes right back down to the fact that, no, you cannot use somebody else's system or process because you didn't walk their life experience. So only they have the full picture of what it is they're trying to share. And that's one of the things, main reasons why I'm at this table every single night, to share as much of my experience as I possibly can and hopefully get the resonance and the correlation where you see these same similar threads from a completely different point of view looking at things. You know, it's the same story, guys. Every
time.
Yeah, it's infinitely different ways it's being told. Like I was talking with Paul earlier today. There's not a thing that I have really changed on every one of these shows. I'm saying the same thing over and over and trying to share it from different perspectives.
We're all fallen angles. We're just feedbacking our own angle from the place we fell.
And that's why degrees of awareness rather than levels will serve you. The zodiac is laid out in a 360 degree. Where the hell is this level thing? The level is in a building. Didn't two towers fall? 360 degrees is hardwired into the universe. People say, "Oh, you're on a different level than me." I bat that out of the air as fast as it comes out of their lips. No, I'm not. I'm right here beside you. The only thing I've accepted is myself and the awareness that comes before me. It is laid on a table before you. Psalms 23. Really great reference point.
While you were reading the emails, Kate, I had this flashback of the movie Lord of the Rings, the first one where Gandalf stands and just hits his staff on the ground and says, "Thou shalt not pass." And that's kind of the image I usually hold within myself when I think, somebody's trying to trespass on my inner truth, on my standings. So, no way, thou shalt not pass. And usually they piss off. So it does work.
That's exactly the visual I have in mind, where there's Gandalf standing on the bridge and smashing the bridge down. You shall not pass. Well, there's my motto. I stand to post. I shall not yield. None shall pass.
Exactly.
And that's it. Go ahead. Want to play with that one? Knock yourself out. If you're in, you want to play, you're going to play to the death with me. You game? Because I mean it. I know the code of consciousness. That's why I will never yield from the truth. Never. Because I know the price. The wages of sin is death, if you will. I don't play that monkey game. I'm immortal.
Yep.
So are you.
I love it.
It's time to get your heart ons.
Truth in its purest form.
Can't do anything but. I mean, it's the only way out of here. I think a few of the teachers said that, didn't they? I am the way, the truth, and the light. None shall come to the Father but through me. Yeah, that works for me. But again, it's, you got the Christians and all the rest of them want to take that shit literally, and the next thing they'll be saying, "Oh, you think you're Jesus?" I said, no, I know I'm Christ, because that's what Jesus was. He knew he was Christ, and everyone that knows they're Christ, it's a state of being, knows who they are, and that's what he was teaching. The gobbledygook that you get from the churches has you convinced that Christ had a penis and was inside a body. No, sorry, that's not how it works. The lesson is simply this: you are all of the Christ consciousness. How much of that you want is how much truth you're willing to stand in. And if you're not standing in truth, what are you standing in? Sounds like shit to me.
Feces.
Reminds me of a little kid in my old neighbourhood in Australia. Somebody asked him, "What's your name, son?" And he says, "Jesus fucking Christ, don't do that." And that's because everybody would always be telling him, "Jesus fucking Christ, don't do that." So I think that's the best lesson he could have got, because they were telling him the truth.
Bingo.
Yeah.
It comes in the funniest ways. I got to tell you, some of the lines that come out of these movies, it's like I laugh because I know what they're saying anagogically, and it's perfect. Yeah, what was the other one? The one was the movie I watched the other night as well. Another great allegorical example. But always be mindful to watch it from both perspectives. Watch the bad guy as the good guy and the good guy as the bad guy. And flip it around in the movie. Because if you're looking for the positive truth, you will find it that way. You will not find it being polarized on one side or the other. Because if you are on one side or the other, you are either rooting for the vengeance or taking part in the vengeance. I choose neither. I'm interested in balance.
And it's awesome. Movies are a great place to practice observing your emotional body.
Yep.
I spent some time being, oh, that's violent, oh, that's violent, that's violent. And then I realized, actually, the movies are nothing compared to what was going on in my head. Poof, there goes the emotion. Done.
Well, yeah. Once you understand that they're movies, it's all make-believe, designed to get an emotional reaction from your reactive response stimuli called reptilian brainstem. Watch how deep you can get into a movie if you're entering the mirror mind, entertained by it, entertainment. And pay attention, close attention to your body. If you find yourself getting lost in the movie a little bit, in that moment, pay attention to see if it's a tense scene and if your body's tense, and if it's whatever it is, try to see if you're actually experiencing the emotion, and then you will see just how easy, this is how you find your ego real good, how easily controlled and manipulated your ego is with emotions. As soon as you can, what Darren just said there, as soon as you can get into that space and realize, one, it's just a movie, you'll be fine. And then you'll start seeing it for what it is. You're not going to be reacting. You're not going to get caught up in it. Because the truth of the matter is, you are every character in the movie, good and evil. It's what you choose to be. That's your common with me, with my law, right? The man-made common law is nonsense.
Nonsense.
Right? In the terms of the legal aspect, because it's just one more trap down the road. Is killing somebody a good thing? No. Any other questions? Is raping a child a good thing? No. Any other questions? If somebody does that, are they guilty? Yes. Whether there's a court or not, it doesn't matter. If the deed was done, the deed was done. No proof required because the proof was already contained in the intent of the act. I can't judge that. All I can do is observe it and say, no, that's not something I want to do, and God damn it, you're going to pay for that. That's why I won't do it. That's the consequences. And every choice we make, we're responsible for the consequences. Like I say, we're all great at taking credit for wonderful, beautiful things that we do, but gosh darn, we're a little bit reluctant when it comes to the shitty things, eh? You know? All those shitty things that we've done in our lives and then gone, oh, well, here's the answer. Look at it and go, yeah, that was shitty. Not going to do that again. Because look at the intent that was based behind it. And the joy of this as well is knowing that it wasn't you, the pure being, doing it. It was a pre-programmed, indoctrinated program that was in you that was controlling you. You can call them demons, if you will. That's why this Fallen is so good. And to see how quickly the ego transmits itself through everybody. So look at it from a multiverse perspective rather than just the literal of what's going on. Look at it from the Christ consciousness perspective and the trials and tribulations that we all need to go through. And by the end of it, I think you'll have a different understanding of what's going on. And we will be able to roll right up to the hour here. Ben's not going to be joining us today. I just want to double check that because I know Paul texted me that, but I just want to make sure I got that right. Paul, where are we? Yep, no Ben. And, Savan Bummer just got back to me. Okay, cool. Yeah, good. So hopefully having Savan Bomer on very soon. Very, very busy guy, new daughter and new TV platform set up that he's doing, and never mind the work that's involved in it. And I totally get it because I said to him, the table's wide open anytime you want, and I know how busy he is. That's why this table doesn't have a door. You just come or you don't. The door's open, the table's open all the time. But that being said, guys, the game is really, really simple. I think I'll be doing a little writing this afternoon between now and the next show to hopefully put a few of these ideas we've been talking about into a written form so that they can be looked at again and again. It's one of the reasons why, for me, if I'm ever going to watch a movie, I have to download it because once is not enough because I have to take a few different perspective looks at it. Or I find myself rewinding or going back in the movie constantly. By the way, in the movie Fallen, take the time to make sure you read everything that is shown in the books that are being shown to you. There is much truth revealed in those, and you'll start understanding a lot of the nature of the trickery that we've all bought into for so very long. Just remember this: the whole system is a bluff. It is absolutely powerless. It is completely dependent upon your consent and your agreement only. That's all it needs to. And guys, you're infinite creators. How many infinite creators do you think need to be held in place to keep a reality going? Not too many. So, fortunately, most of the power that's getting drained from the ignorant is a very weak power anyway. That's why people that are awakening are so dangerous, because they're becoming aware of their own power, and in doing so, cut off the vampires and start building up the power. Like I said, excuse me, it's long been touted that one awakened being overrules minimum 200,000 sleepyheads. So it doesn't take a whole lot of awakened beings to take back a planet, does it? That's what I thought too. So this is why it's critical that you look at yourselves, that you take care of yourselves, because in that process you raise your own awareness, and then we all sit at the same table and raise each other's awareness from this multiverse, many points of view, to bring as much information and aha moments as we can together, because in that process what we're doing is empowering each other, ourselves and each other at the same time. And as a net result, it's not going to take many of us to take this planet back. Not many at all. And it only takes one to awaken.
And that's why I love sitting with those po-po.
Yeah, the spirit seed's a spirit seed, baby.
You know it, because I peer right through everyone's shield. I peer through everyone's veil. I see what they don't even see of themselves. And it used to bother me. It used to create opportunity for me to tame some emotional energies that were being exploited by the ego. And it was awesome every time, even though it sucked. How come they can't see how awesome they are? Why don't they see that in themselves? Why do they have to project this at me? I've told many girlfriends, if you keep saying that, I'm going to fucking believe it. And sure shit, I believe it. Poof.
Yeah, you get what you wish for.
You don't appreciate my presence, you can appreciate my absence. It was your choice.
And that's it.
And it was accepted for value. You can look at me and see any one of my faces and judge it. Yet, it's a judgment of the self that you were blinded by the ego. I have no attachment, and it's beautiful. And it's there for all, because I am you. 200,000? I don't know. I'm a little bit more ambitious. I'd say 10 million? Maybe more now? I don't know.
Oh, way more than that.
I don't keep track.
Way more than that.
I'll remember their faces, but their names will never attach to me. Eyes I'll remember, smiles I'll remember. But if you need me to remember your name, I'm going to hold it against me, because I go, walk on, baby. That's where my freedom begins and your enslavement resides. Because I live in my heart. I reside in my heart, and that's a dumb fucking question.
In as much as everyone is a lesson in my life as they pass through my life, equally am I a lesson to them. It is just my wish that they understand that lesson as I have understood mine.
Hey. That's it.
You know, look how many people, in terms of relay shun ships, have this crazy notion that somehow one or the other lost the other. No, it's an equally shared thing. Yeah. In that process, you both lost each other. Yeah. None greater, none lesser. You gave up yourself.
Gave up yourself to be with that one. Oops. And some people live blissfully through it. Some reach a point where it's, I've been living alone in a relationship for 3 years. I think it's time for me to choose me, maybe.
Well, yeah, that's exactly it. Poignant statement made by one of the characters in Fallen. Of course, it's always the female, two males, right? Anyway, the female in the movie, she lived alone, and she was in a roundabout way. Why? And she said, "Well, if I'm going to share my life with someone, it has to be someone that I can share my thoughts, my work, my passions, and are willing to share in that, because of the path I take or took is, can be harmful and put others at risk." And in regards to my own family, Sue and the girls and all the rest of it, I knew this a long time ago, and I accepted full responsibility for it. That's why in my quote deal with myself, that they be taken care of. And held safe, away from any harm, and that's been exactly and will be exactly the case, because there's a great responsibility when we stand in the truth, and this is one of the reasons why so many of us run solo, because to find someone in that same willingness to take it on the chin, if you will, and just have at her 100%, that's well, look how rare we are. Okay, so that being said, I don't want to put anyone at risk that can't handle it. And, for those that were put at risk, my own family, et cetera, I take full responsibility for that. That for me was the only way I could accept what had went on, and it was in the full responsibility of self. And, of course, the choice being to stand in the truth kept them safe, but it kept them separate from me. And this is one of the reasons why I've been going through my own cutting of all spiritual attachments, all spiritual agreements, and consent to anything and anyone around me, not to be selfish, but to keep my lines clean and to keep them safe. It's that whole, quote, guilt by association, right? Targeted by association, too. So I remove everything around me and paint the bullseye strictly and squarely on my shoulders. I'll take this. No one else need be harmed in this process. And when I say I wish no harm on anyone, that's exactly what I mean. No harm on anyone. I will take this one solo. I'll carry this cross all by myself. And how many of you have done the same? Yeah, see, now that's exactly where we stand. Right? But we walk alone together now. That's the difference. We all have taken our solo flights, okay? We're all carrying our own individual crosses, and we've all had our crazy kick-ass experiences. We've all been ridiculed. We've all been, punched and kicked while we're down, flogged by those dearest to us, literally to almost spiritual death, and yet we stood. We've all had this path. You are the Prometheus on the mountain that gets your liver ripped out daily by the eagle Zeus, okay? For daring to share the truth, for daring to stand against that one aspect that is here that thinks of itself as God and God alone. Sorry, not on my watch, bitch. I am part of all creation. And I am all creation at the same time. And I stand equal. Not above and not below. It's a very simple thing for me. Neutral. Live and let live. Just let it be. And well done, guys. Look how far you've come. Look how far we've all come together. And that's all we got to do. Keep walking. Just like, what was her name? The fish in Finding Nemo. Dora might have been. Yeah, just keep swimming. That's all we got to do. Just keep swimming. Don't worry, the beach is there. We're seeing it now. We were miles out in the craziest storms in the oceans of this place. The creation shuns. Oceans. Isn't that funny how that works? But we knew the shore was there. And we've done everything in our power to get there. And yes, many of us were tired, and all along the way, we managed to find someone that, just as we're ready to sink and go under, that came along and said, listen, okay, I've got you for a little bit here, and because I'm strong enough at this point, and as soon as they start getting tired, once you've regained your strength, now you have the ability to do the same. That's why we do this together, because we've all walked a very weary road. We've all drilled through some serious, hardcore shit. But we did it together, and that's why this table for me is crucial. It's where we get a chance to come together and go, yeah, I dealt with this today, and but you know that when you come to this table, you're sharing it with kindred. You're sharing it with those that will empower you back and be in full gratitude for standing. I have ultimate gratitude for someone that stands and someone that even just sends out a couple of emails with "Did you know?" on it. Did you know you're a criminal? Sending out whatever it is to whoever. It doesn't matter how big the step, as long as you're walking, because every step forward is a step forward. That simple.
Forever forward.
Mm-hmm.
How about I told you were actually, all of us, we, us, whatever, I, is the Big Bang.
Yep.
That's simple. It's already happened. Everything's happened. It's exploded, and we're in that explosion. And as we clear our own consciousness and align with the will, we fall into the energies, that part of the explosion, that serve us. Feel good. Love us. Hold us. Truth resides. Isn't it wonderful? It's freedom. Because there's nothing outside of the self, not even the Big Bang.
Yeah, that happened within as well, you see. Right? That which is without is also within. And as soon as we figure that out, then you start knowing who you are and what you truly are. And the only answer I found that works is stand in truth. That's it.
Yeah. Supernova, that core heart energy. Isn't that where gold comes from, is a supernova?
Yeah.
From your own heart. Your own heart is the core of the Big Bang Theory. That's it.
Yeah, and it's a great sitcom, too, if you watch that, right? You learn to laugh at yourself.
Yeah. I just remembered in regards to the movies, when we were talking about the movies, this is just a literal moment for those who like it. Comedy Act. It's from the 1800s. Comedy Act. Instead of a D, double T. It totally tells us that they're going to use the media to tell us the truth. It's up to us to choose whether it's there or not there. And if we're clouded, sick, irresponsible, or as they say, dilapitant in the law, we miss it. We miss good, bad, positive, negative. We miss it all. Because there's no neutral, there's no rainbow bridge. There's no will. There's no will accepted. No.
Yeah, if anyone was looking for Noah's Ark, that is the to know, K-N-O-W, Ahaz, Ark. That's what this table is.
It's amazing.
Kind of funny how that works, isn't it?
You just have to align, witness. All takes care of itself.
Lion, king of the beasts, indeed. And I know a lot of lawyers that love to be lions. Yeah, they are the king, or the knowledge hex, kin, G, of the beast. That's what they are. We are the mirror. That's why the lion must lie down with the lamb. The law of me. The lame.
Beautiful.
Right? Yeah. There's only one note higher than law, and that's T. And I talked about the scale earlier. Take the L and the R and reverse it, and the scale makes a lot more sense phonetically. Yeah, they're completely opposite. When you flip the row and the law, flip them around in position, the sentence changes completely. So yeah, play around with that one a little bit. Take the L out and put the R in, which is spirit breath. Intent is already assumed in spirit breath because it's an action. You don't need an L to say that. So just get the spirit breath out there, the rite, the R-I-T-E, the ritual. We got about, 5 minutes or so, 6 minutes, 7 minutes actually, good, until we're done here. So for those that haven't jumped in yet, if you just want to quickly jump in and just even say hi or whatever, we're back at the table tonight for another 2 or 3 hours. So that's in, 4 hours from now? So don't worry. You'll always have an opportunity to talk. Promise. Anybody? All the mics are open?
I'm being patient, letting someone else talk. I get tired of hearing my own voice.
You too, huh?
Yeah. I used to say that to my children all the time. You know what? Wreck the house. And they look at me like, what? Yeah, just do whatever you want. I'm going outside. What? Why? Well, I'm tired of hearing my own voice. I'm sick of my voice. And I just walked out. See, they're the ones supposed to think that. They're the ones supposed to say that.
Yeah, I know. Hand it back. Mere responsibility, baby. Hand it back.
I didn't even get to the door. They corrected themselves. They totally corrected themselves. I didn't have to do a thing. I just went, okay. You know.
Yeah, that was my favorite thing about quiet time, and of course Emily, being the Leo, was a lot more apt to get quiet time than her younger sibling Hillary. But the only way that quiet time ended was they had to explain to me why they were there. I already knew why they were there. They needed to tell me why they were there. And as soon as they could, that meant they were confronting what it was. And lo and behold, as soon as they did that, there you go. How hard was that? Let's go play.
Yeah.
And that's
free
it.
will. They got it.
They got it. You just got to hand it back. You got to give people the free will choice to decide. You know, or we can keep conditioning each other into a state of slavery, and then how's that been working for us? So,
domination never pays.
No.
Self-gratification can be fun, but it takes two to tango. So why not co-create it? It's just pure truth. Exactly.
Well, guys, we got about 4 minutes here, so if anybody wants to jump in now.
And thank you, Mark, for your kind words.
No, guys, it's beautiful. No, thank you, Darren. Thank you, Kate. Beautiful.
Well, it's just because you are. Isn't that cool? I'm just a mirror. You're only seeing yourself for the first time, hopefully. Yeah. Well, not the first time. Many of you are finally seeing a lot more of yourself than you've ever seen. And tell me I wasn't right. Aren't you the most beautiful, perfect essences in the universe?
I thought you were left.
That too.
Right, left, right.
Always wanted to be a tranny. Thank you.
Yeah, it's got its ups and downs. but it definitely has its. It's very playful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's in the balance of the fear of self and all the rest of it. You get a lot of playful moments. You know, it's when. Yeah, the inner child comes out, and you know, people start taking themselves less seriously around me because I make a point of that, right? It's like yesterday I was saying around the table. It says, you know, think back 6 months ago, how many of you thought you'd be sitting around with a crazy mouthy tranny at the table here? No, I'm like a physical table here, and they looked at me and I said, "See what I mean? Isn't that fun?" You know, but it is. it's a wonderful awakening where they get a chance to look at themselves and maybe some of the preconceived notions. And as I said at the table too, I've met some pretty crazy trannies, man. It's no fucking wonder.
Yeah.
Like, they're really focused on the shoes and the nails and stuff. And yeah, I like a nice new pair of shoes if I get them and whatever. But that's not my end all and be all. It's not my whole life. And so many of these, they just make that their whole life. It's, I got this new skirt. I go, oh my god, I like getting new things here and there, and that's great. But that's not my life focus. It's like, just like anything else. I like having, a pair of shoes to wear and, something else, and that's all it is to me. It's just part of the game.
The props are fun, but they're not the main course.
Yeah, exactly. And you get the right props and you have a lot of fun with them. You can put on a hell of a show and people really pay attention. That's the funny part, And I know the voice screws it up for most people anyway, but that's okay.
There's part of fun too.
Yeah, I've got that
it's
real
all
smoky,
opportunity.
Yeah, I've got that real
it's
smoky,
all opportunity.
Bedroom voice. 90 seconds. All right. Any last thoughts, guys? We've got a minute and a half.
Oh yeah, thank you guys. It's so much gratitude in being here. Beautiful, beautiful creation.
Namaste.
Right,
in Lakesh.
Absolutely. Yeah, you starting to have fun now?
Just so much clarity. The clarity just sets in as soon as you hear it.
Yeah. So who wants their absolute bulletproof shield to the system to make them all go away and never be able to touch you again? Well, we have it if you want it. So my final thoughts today are this: if anyone wants to ask me a question, then I will accept full responsibility in answering that in kind, as the one asking takes full responsibility in accepting the answer given with a simple okay, so I know they're at least going to look at it without trying to evaluate, debate, and all the rest of it. Just have a look at it, because I guarantee you, if you're looking for an answer, you don't have it. So maybe I might be able to offer a piece of that puzzle. Vice versa.
Guide and counsel, that's all one can do.
Exactly.
Okay, with much love.
Much love.
Love you guys.
Much love, much gratitude.
And again, thanks, Paul, and the crew at criticalmassradio.co.uk. Flow the energy, flow the light, flow the love, put it all towards the hub, and when that bowl overflows, we all get our bowls filled anyway. So that one for all and all for one. And on that note, I will see you guys in about 4 hours. Much love, and well done. Well done. Look at you. Take care.
You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
To be a part of it, please do. And we'll get everybody connected that way. We're going to connect one way or the other, so I don't care how we do it. It's just the connecting that matters to me. So there's an easy way to do it. Kate of Gaia discussion group. So that's the map reference, and you can find us there. Okay, where was I going to go? Hang on, let me get that. I was on that page. So, thanks, Michael. This is a good one. The headline was, Evil, Italy's bishops pass Vatican-backed rule that child molestation doesn't need to be recorded. And of course not. Pedophiles don't want their shit recorded, but it's unfortunate for them because in the Akashic sense it already is. You see, by one's actions, one is already known, and an action in a now timeline cannot be taken back, right? Because when you understand the magic of this universe, that the magnetic source of self, which is connected to all, is the genie out of the bottle. That's your Pandora's box. It's open. So effectively everything you think and say is being manifested instantly and literally. For a great example of how people can be so blindsided by literal, the scene with Mr. Cody in Interstate 60, when he has the gentleman with a sign, "Will work for food," and he held him directly to his literal guns. And that's exactly how the universe works. And the clue that you get with Mr. Code E, well, Mr. means the son of or light of, code 9, which is code of consciousness, E in the mirror. Uppercase is 3, lowercase is 9. So there is your Trinity creation. So it is so blatantly literal once you start to break it down with the sound and the phonics. And slow down. You just got to breathe on this. Everyone's in such a hurry. Everyone wants the answer. How do I get out? How do I do this? How do I stop? Just stop. I was there. I know what it's like. You have that wake up moment, and you'll have many more. I promise you. To the reality of what this paradigm is all about, and you just get sickened by it, and you want out as quick as you can.
You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good day, wherever you are on this wonderful planet. Welcome to Outside the Box. Yours truly, Kate of Gaia, here on criticalmassradio.co.uk. Oh, wow. Lots to talk about, and so much. It's going constantly radical, fractal, so it's tough to keep a straight vision on things these days. But keep a straight vision, I will. The end game. We're already in the end game, guys. The proofs are showing up everywhere. This energy that this dark principality that we've been pitted against is crumbling like Jericho's walls. The seventh trumpet has sounded, and the proof is everywhere. I mean, simple things like you can see how people can get emotional about this sort of stuff real quick. Let me just get up to it. By the way, for those wanting to tag directly with me, the best place, I'm able to add one or two people here and there as, former spammed friend requests get removed and whatever. So I will add as much as I can. I was able to add 2 today. But that being said, groups, you can get as many as you want in those. So a group discussion had been set up. I set one up actually a long time ago, Katie's Cove, and never got around. I was there, but it was just too much to handle. So there was one set up. I believe it was Richard. Me and names. You know what I'm like with names, right? How much I love names. But anyway, had set this up. And you can get there on Facebook at Kate of Gaia discussion group. So for those that want to connect and stay up to date with everything, I've got that page open constantly now. And anyone that wants to send a request to it, I tell you, there's a lot of things that have to get looked at real quick. And they have to get looked at within yourself real quick. This is not about research. The only research that people need to do is their own heart. And I got to tell you, it's as simple as standing in truth and never yielding. We're wise enough to know the difference between, right and wrong, good and evil, if you will, if you want to stay polarized on it. And it's in that contrast that we can decide to be one or the other. And there are some that choose, well, not what I would choose. It's a one-way ticket to deleting of consciousness, taking the evil roads. That's the easy road, right? The ones that people are most attracted to, and it's always in the physical sense that people are attracted to these things. And that totally makes sense. I get it. I happen to be walking around in a physical meat stick too, right? I just know that the meat stick isn't me, right? It's where I hang out. It's where I, experience this reality. It's not me. It's just like my car. When I take this body and put it in the car isn't me. I just animate the car. Basically third party, right? Me operating the body operating the car, right? And that's just another fractal within a fractal. You got to get to the source of who and what you are, though. And this is the hard part that I see most people, and I know why, because it took a lot to get past it. It's like this whole ego program. You cannot understand what an ego program is until you see it as, and it's a blinding moment of aha. And then, of course, once you see it as a separate, completely separate program, separate entity, you start to wonder, well, how the hell do I explain this to an ego? Because the ego is going to constantly want to defend it, and it's a perfect circular trap that myself and many others have been able to get out of, and I'm just trying my best to say the same things over and over to get people to see this, and they will. They will. I know they will, because I know a lot of people that had that blinding, oh my God moment. Look at that. Yes, you actually see the ego as the car, right? It's not you anymore. And you have your own steering mechanism. It's called your heart. And your brain will do everything in its power to derail you and steer you off in all sorts of crazy intellectual directions. And you'll look clever and you'll sound clever and you'll debate and you'll have all of this beautiful ego stuff going on. And you will be saying, it's not ego, it's not ego, it's not ego. And I know it is, because, gosh darn it, I did the same things until I saw what it was. And it is black and white. There is no gray here. And you'll see when you see. And it's anything that has an emotion attached to it, anything that is a reaction, that is all reptilian brainstem motif. That's the modal operation of the reptilian brain. That's a program. A program reacts. It's like if you push this button, this lever moves, and this arm rises. Okay, so if someone pushes your angry button, right, the furnace opens up, lights you up on fire, and if you're right or left-handed, it doesn't matter. Right hand comes up to smash. That's what the ego program is. It literally works under stimulus response only. That's when you can see the difference. I think that's probably that's a neater way to kind of explain it. The ego is a stimulus response. It responds only to the physical. It responds only to survival. Right, body survival. That's all it is. It's looking for the comforts, the heat, the cool when it's too hot, and the heat when it's too cold. It's looking for all of the different things to keep the body, the id entity, or the id and the ego, right? Indigo, yes, indigo children, yes. Yeah. Generally, you find lots of the id and ego in that. But anyway, what you'll start to see is how separate you are from this reality. And then you start laughing at it for the insanity that it is, and that it's just a game, but not one that I want to play any longer. I'm done with this one. Excuse me. And for those that are done with it as well, I mean, that's kind of why we gather here, because we've had enough. Again, Italy, bishops, seriously, and people are surprised at this shit. Right, this is a system having to come out and expose itself, so that even a fully asleep idiot who is caught in any form of religion has to look at something like this and question it. Italy's bishops passed Vatican-backed rule that child molestation doesn't need to be recorded. And here's what I'll offer up to all the religiocosis chosenitis types, and Catholics, doesn't matter, Christians, everybody. Please send your children, your very young and innocent children, to the Vatican to be sodomized. Okay, and make sure you put the little name tag on them and a little letter telling the bishops and the Pope and everything. Well, because they're not going to, doesn't need to be recorded, right? So, and if you're okay with that, then please send your children to Rome. And you may, I'm not sure if they use condoms or not, but you might want to send some condoms along, unless you want your kids back with STDs. So there's your religions for you, in a nutshell. It's just getting sickeningly stupid and blatant in people's faces. There was something else I came across today. Oh, by the way, I watched Fallen last night. Yeah, I had seen that before, and it was profound when I saw it the first time. But I'll tell you, the eyes that were looking at it last night weren't the eyes that were looking at it when it came out, whatever, 12, 15 years ago or whatever, because that was in my DVD collection. Yeah, it came out in 1998. And I love this, crime, drama, fantasy. Yeah, indeed it is. Anyway, Denzel Washington, John Goodman, and Don Sullivan did great jobs in this. And it'll give you a really good idea as to what's going on. What I would suggest if you're watching this Azazel character that is in it, remember to flip things over. Don't stay polarized on stuff, because you're only going to see half the truth. And for me, I have to see the whole truth. So I look at the good guys as the